Hey Rockstar, welcome to another episode of Book Discussions. Today we're going to be talking about the book, The Mechanics of Yenagoa. First off, I love the cover that this book has. It's amazing. I love it. The blue, the green. There's just something about the cover that just really draws you in and I love it. So let's just get that out of the way. But then, to the book now. The Mechanics of Yenagoa was an interesting read. I love that this book was actually set in Bayelsa. You know, most times you have books set in places like Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, Kano, right? Those are like the places I know. Some of the popular Nigerian books I've read, those are the places where most of these books are set in. So to see a book set in the South and in a place like Bayelsa that is not often in the pop culture conversation in Nigeria was actually really beautiful for me. I loved it, you know. It's not one of the popular states that come to mind when you think of Nigeria. So this book actually gives you great insights about the state and, you know, a few cities in there that by the time you're done reading, you're like, I want to visit this place. I really want to visit it and see how it's like. It sounds like a town that is just easygoing, has a bit of, you know, low-key drama, but at the same time, you know, the people in there love it and they're just thriving in the best way that they can. Interesting thing about this book is that the ending that was shocking. And that's the interesting thing about this book. Every chapter introduces twists and more twists that reminds you that everything that we do in life comes with consequences and it keeps you engaged. Like by the time you're done reading the cliffhanger that is in chapter 1 or 2, you're like, let me turn the next chapter. That's how interesting this book was. Really engaging. It felt like reading stories of ordinary people that you don't get to hear about always, you know, mechanics. People are thinking about writing about a book, probably a lawyer, probably a doctor, probably a musician. But to read a book where you're reading about the lives of mechanics in a state like Bayelsa, like amazing. The author of this book, Micheal Afenfia, I'm hoping I did not mispronounce that name. If I did, please, if you ever listen to this, I'm sorry. Micheal, he writes this book and is just captivating, honestly. The themes covered in this book range from politics to religion to relationship dynamics that will leave you making sure that you read every page, like I said earlier. Super engaging. It is also a very funny book. There were times I read something and I covered the book and I had a really, really good laugh because so many things about it was just so funny. And this book is as Nigerian as it gets. Nigerian music, Nigerian culture, Nigerian names, and wow, I loved it. You know that I love Nigerian authors. I love African books, and reading this made me think of wanting to visit Bayelsa someday, and I hope that I get to visit Bayelsa because the way that Micheal writes about it, even though it's not a grand city with like, you know, bright lights or whatever, it still interests you to want to see what the town is like, what the state itself is like, you know. I can't wait to read more books that he has written. I look forward to it. But right now, I'll say to you, if you want to read a book this year, Mechanics of Yenagoa is definitely something you should have on your to-read list. You're not going to regret buying and reading this book. It is super engaging. Thanks for listening.